On IRC, man, reconvening in some 99, both that shit down, screaming.
Pound and he's sick. Pound and he's sick.
Pound it to the bleachers.
Pound and he's sick.
If you're sitting below deck in the lone smoke, salute, bitch, and show some respect.
Pound and he's sick.
Pound it through your...
Greetings, pirates, and welcome to another exciting Fuck FBI Friday release.
For Fuck FBI Friday, we are releasing 1 gigabyte of private emails and documents.
Anti-sec culminated in Christmas of 2011 with the Stratfor hack.
I remember being with my family around Christmas, glued to my computer, looking over, trying to interact with my family, right, at the same time as, the Stratfor stuff's going on. And I guess there's that glee that happens, right? The glee that happens whenever, oh, this happened, this big hack.
Some people are just hanging out, because it's I'm a devotee to train wrecks. And other people are, seeking out knowledge. Stratfor is a private intelligence contractor. They act as a outsourced private version of the CIA.
The national security journalist Joshua Faust or Faust, maybe, he said that Stratfor is no different than a private investigator, but PIs don't have the sort of clientele that Stratfor had. Hunt Oil, National Oilwell Varco, Emerson Electric, Dell Computers, Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin, Department of Homeland Security, Defense Intelligence Agency, U.S. Marines, and they don't have the sort of informants that Stratfor has. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Mexican diplomat Fernando de la Mora Salcedo, DEA pilot and sometimes supervisor William F. Dion, giving them information off of JWIC's top secret classified computer network. So that's not the PI that you would hire to see if your spouse is cheating on you. That's Stratfor.
The gifts that a non-Santa left under the Xmas tree are just the beginning.
Cyber thieves made off with the personal details of hundreds of thousands of subscribers.
They woke up to find that they'd given an unexpected Christmas present of $50,000 between them to numerous high-profile charities.
Here comes Santa, here comes Santa. Expect us. Here comes Santa Claus. Here comes Santa. Julian, will you dance with me? It's not about the money. Money. We want the world to dance.
To take an ex-FBI agent and use their credit card to make a donation to the Red Cross on Christmas Day, I get that it's criminal, but it's wonderful in its own way.
The Stratfor hack, it's claimed, also contains email conversations between Stratfor employees and officials in government.
Every week, a company or an agency, is this going to get worse?
I think so.
People broke into something and wow, criminals. Well, okay, even if you want to call them criminals, they're coming up with this information that looks a lot like criminal activity.
The day that WikiLeaks published the global intelligence files, which is what it calls the Stratfor leak, The Atlantic wrote an article titled, "Stratfor is a joke and so is WikiLeaks for taking it seriously." And that was the very day of the leak, so surely they didn't read the 5 million emails that I've spent more than a year researching. The 5 million emails have just been published. The most important revelations are still unknown.
The information involved got to us because several young people sacrificed to get it to us. They went out and took it.
It's me. It wasn't me.
Send me some backup.
Anonymous hacker Jeremy Hammond, #1 on the FBI cybercrime list, pled guilty to Christmas hacking spree.
Jeremy Hammond. ആധുനിക രൂപമായിരുന്നു ജെറമി ഹാമണ്ട്.
Jeremy Hammond qui fait face à
known as the electronic Robin Hood.
Jeremy Hammond.
Computer hacker Jeremy Hammond has been sentenced to 10 years in prison.
As a former journalist, a former investigative reporter for the New York Times, I am stunned that the rest of my colleagues, well, I mean, frankly, I'm not that stunned, are not here.
Jeremy's going to jail for 10 years. I don't think a lot of people in this country are going to find out about it if the New York Times doesn't cover it. That's just the way that the media is set up right now.
There's a lot of people on the outside supporting him. He's gotten a lot of letters, so, you know.
Hammond's actions are acts of civil disobedience, fundamentally.
In hacking Stratfor, Jeremy Hammond achieved some degree of transparency. It opened our eyes to things that we needed to see.
सच का साथ दिया है और उन्होंने सिर्फ उसी को सामने लेकर आए हैं जो सच था.
25 years after Bhopal, after a gas tank released toxic gas into the cities surrounding the factory, they were monitoring dissent and demonstrations against Dow Chemical.
Data wants to be free is the hacker credo. The real questions we need to be asking is, when this data is, shared with people, who is it benefiting and who is it hurting? Jeremy's apartment, is just books scattered about the floor, books on the shelves.
What could be more dangerous than books?
The internet. Which is really just one giant book about all of us being written in real time.
To the extent that Jeremy Hammond is responsible for those 5 million emails, he did something entirely necessary.
Stop projecting this.
If the U.S. was a country that was actually governed in accordance with the rule of law, then I would be the first to oppose any crime against any company, including hacking. But the fact of the matter is that this is not a country governed with the rule of law.
We love you!
We love you!
We all love you, Jeremy! We all love you! We all love you! Jeremy, flash your light! Jeremy! Jeremy, flash your light! Your mom is here! Your mom is here!
She loves you!
She loves you!
And I'm proud of you too, boy!